Hello, ladies. Let's perch. I am your hostess, Deshonda Lucas of the She's Free2Fly podcast. It is such a beautiful day. I am so happy because today I have my monthly guest, the number one person in my life, Mariah Magic Jackson. So, Mariah, welcome to She's Free2Fly.
Good to be
Oh man, you've been busy. You have definitely been busy. I can definitely say like over the last month, if I've had 3, 4 hours of conversation with you in 1 month, I would probably be happy, but I don't think I've had that. But you have definitely been busy and I am so proud of you. You have so many things going on in your life that you really do make me proud and happy. And so when I called you about filming this episode, I said, okay, Mariah, what do you want to talk about? And I must say that you really surprised me because it's definitely something I want to talk about, but you surprised me that it was your input that decided that today would be the conversation. Our relationship. I speak about you all the time, and I know you talk about your mom all the time. So I'm very interested to see where this conversation is going to go. Like, I really am, because I have no clue. None of this has been rehearsed. I'm just interested to see where the conversation is going to go. So let's get it started. Tell me about it. Where does our relationship start? Where do we even start this conversation?
around 2003, I guess.
That's a good start.
How were you feeling when you found out that you were having me and all those things? How did you think you were going to treat your daughter? Oh, yeah, the shock.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know you was going to turn it on me. So that means the story started in 2002.
Okay.
Because it was Mother's Day 2002 that I found out I was pregnant with you. And it was the best Mother's Day that anyone could ever receive. Like, oh my gosh. I just remember like seeing the test, like the home test, and knowing that this is it. There was no question. There was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to be a mother. And it was just everything for me to find that out on Mother's Day. And being a mother has been one of the greatest gifts in this world. And my pregnancy was very hard. I was sick like literally almost every day. And I remember just calling my mom, telling her like, Mama, I think I'm going to die. Like pregnancy was extremely hard on me. But from the time you got here, you have been like the easiest thing. Even like my labor and me having you was very different. Like I went to a regular doctor's appointment and they were like, oh, your water's low. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they said, can you come back at 2:30? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be back. Because I had to go home and get a bag. So I went home and I told your dad and we came back to the hospital. And I really didn't have any contractions or anything. Like they gave me the medication to go ahead and go into labor. But I may have had a little and a little but that was about it. I'm telling you, that's how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And my fluid kept getting lower and your heart rate was like doing some stuff. And he was like, well, we're going to go ahead and take you back and we're going to do a cesarean. And I was like, okay. And let my mother tell it. She was there and she was like, I don't know who's staying, but I'm going. And so we went back in the back and they gave me an epidural and he pinched me after giving me the epidural to do the C-section. And he was like, did you feel that? I was like, yes, I felt it. He said, no, you didn't. I said, you pinched me, didn't you, damn it? That's really what I said to the doctor. Next thing I know, I woke up and had a baby. So, you're mine. You're mine.
I feel like that is very, how you said it was the happiest Mother's Day that you had. It was like just that good of a feeling. I feel like that's how our relationship feels to me. It feels like I was welcome, like I was received, like I was wanted. I don't ever think I had a point in my life where I was like, she don't want me, she don't love me. Like maybe when I was in my little fits in the corner or something like that. But just like in general, I feel like the foundation or part of the foundation of our relationship is like I am wanted, and to show you that you are wanted, or this is like how I see you saying it to me, like to show you that you are wanted, I give you my time, I give you my love, I give you my care, I give you my support, just like all of those things you were never selfish with me about. So that's what it feels like for me.
You feel wanted. Okay.
Yes.
So let me see. How do I feel as a mother now? First and foremost, I have always known that you do not belong to me. I have truly, truly always known that. And I have always, from the time you were christened, well, before that, you were christened as a 1-year-old. But I just remember just dedicating your whole life to God and knowing that you did not belong to me. And because I knew that, I have always tried to handle you with care. And to be quite honest, and I may have said this a handful of times, like, I honestly didn't think you would still be here at this point in life. Like, I just knew you were just alone, and I knew you didn't belong to me, and I never expected to have you this long, because you are, I know it sounds weird, but it's true. I'm telling you the truth. I knew you were a gift, and you were such an amazing gift. And so every day, I don't think I took the gift for granted. So I don't know if I didn't expect to have you this long, but I never took having you for granted. I've just been always in such appreciation of God, because I had you, and because you're still here. And so I try to remain thankful in that. And I really try to sit down and listen to God on what He desires for you. So even in like your choices or my choices for you for education or just anything, it was okay, what do you need in this moment? I didn't know. I would ask, what do you need in this moment? And just always being aware of being flexible to what your needs were to develop you into the person that you are becoming. And I don't think you ever stop becoming. You have been a continuous evolution. So it's been a lot of that. It really, really has been a lot of that. And I made a conscious decision when you were younger to be a full-time mother and a part-time everything else. And just being available to be in it. And not many people get that opportunity. So I know it is a blessing that I absolutely do not take for granted. You're so beautiful to me.
Look like you.
You look like me. I'm just like on the inside. You are beautiful. You're definitely beautiful. Okay, so, and it hasn't always been easy between us either. It hasn't always been easy, but I do believe we handle uneasy very well. So what do you think have been some of the ebbs and flows in our relationship?
Like the challenges?
Yeah.
In regards to like school and stuff, I feel like you weren't ever like you gotta get good grades, you gotta get all A's. It was always a try your best. So I don't think that was one. I think something like I take the defensive a lot, and I noticed that, and that's like a growth or an area that I need to grow in. And you are naturally a teacher and naturally a guide. And I see you do it for everyone else, but for some reason, sometimes when you do it for me, it just like, she's telling me what to do. She's like, she don't like what I'm doing, or like, you're like, moving me in a sense, or like you're pushing me, but my natural reaction to those pushes is like to push back sometimes. Whereas when you do it for other people, I admire it so much. I'm like, wow, like she really helps people. She really inspires people's lives. But sometimes, like, I don't know if it's my mind doesn't initially register it that way, but sometimes it does like aggravate me a little bit. Or I've grown. It did. I would say it did. I feel like we had this conversation not too long ago, and like we were like, oh, this is what this is. Okay, but
so let's get into that. Let's not talk around it. If it's okay with you, if it's not okay with you, say it's not okay. But let's really get into it so that people can understand the process and how it really happens and what's the result of it. Okay. So you want to start it or you want me to start it?
You can start it. Because I can't remember what it was that you were telling me. Okay. But I know the conversation went to like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably about a month ago, you're back in school now. You are a senior in college. You're an RA, and you are also the president of a organization on school. Which comes with a lot of initial responsibilities of getting everything started up. And in that season, you were extremely tired. There was stress there. And you are also in your head, you're planning for after graduation. So there was also a lot of uncertainty that I think you were feeling. And I think all of that really it was just stressful for you, and you weren't in a good space, and you were dealing with beginning new relationships and ending old relationships with your classmates. So it was definitely a lot on you, and you just had this really, really bad energy. And I was just like, lady, what's going on? And I do call you Ladybug sometimes, and not Magic, but lady's my baby. Ladybug is my baby. Lady, what's going on? And at first you kind of like threw it off and you were like nothing, but you began to open up, and I began to ask questions, and we began to work through some things. So I'm going to stop right there, and I want you to tell me what you were feeling.
I think this is part of what I said previously about like me being on the defense, but
no, prior to our conversation, what were you feeling with all of those responsibilities?
With the responsibilities, I was feeling like I was in a space. First, when I got back on campus, I felt like I was in some type of alternate universe because I had not been here in so long. Most of my friends graduated, so I also didn't, and I came to school 2 weeks early, so people weren't even on campus. So I didn't really feel like I had a support system here, and trying to manage all of those things and like be the leader of different things, I was just feeling a lot of pressure and like I was going through it by myself. But also like I wanted to figure it out by myself. And I don't know. It's like it was a mix of adjusting to my surroundings, old but new at the same time, adjusting to being back in school. The work and the requirements as a student are very different than they were abroad, as well as not having friends here. I was feeling all of those things at once. Okay. So that was, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now take me to our conversation.
In our you just kept like asking me questions about things that were going on. Normal questions that people should be able to answer. But sometimes when I don't know the answer, I kind of freak out a little bit. Or I kind of like, if I'm trying to get to my answer to the answer myself, and someone else is asking me the same questions that I'm trying to figure out for myself, sometimes it just makes me very anxious and like all over the place. And it's like, I don't know, like I'm trying to figure out the same thing that you're trying to figure out. So in that, like there was just a lot of emotions that came up. And I think I ended up telling you, I'm trying to bridge how the conversation, because I know at a certain point the conversation got to sometimes I don't even want to talk to you because your energy is so bright and so loving, and so you just want to help and you just want to make things better, and I'm not in that space and I don't receive it well and I don't return it. So that was like, that's where we ended up. That was one of the big.
I think that was one of our stops, but we ended up going through and identifying what was really going on with you. And then the question that threw you over the edge was, okay, now that we've identified it, tell me 3 things that you're going to work on.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And you just went off the deep end.
Now I'm like, ooh,
that was it.
Ooh.
That's
yes.
it. You just went off the deep end. So, and then in that,
say what went off the deep end means, because I don't want them thinking I just like, I don't know.
Oh, no. You didn't go off like the deep end in a disrespectful way, because honestly, you really do hold in what you're feeling. So I'm not going to say you express going off the deep end. You would never, ever do that. But your energy and your emotional self went like left. And because I know you, I can look at your face and tell you whether you are hot, cold, happy, sad. I can look at your face. Like literally, I can look at your face.
Mm-hmm.
And I began to ask you like what was wrong. But I want you to share like, what does that anxiety, what does that feel like? Because you're not the only person that feels that, Mariah. You're honestly not, and you are free to have those emotions because you are able to control your emotions extremely well. So can you please talk about what it feels to have those emotions and how you process to control your emotions?
Mm-hmm. It brings me back to in June. We went to the Danny Morrell conference, the Awaken Your High Self conference. And we just did a lot of like breathwork activities and stuff like that. And I had not done breathwork before, but the other days of our breathwork are a whole different podcast episode.
Okay.
The first day, during the breathwork, have this reoccurring like vision in a sense of me diving into water and holding my breath. And I just was not allowed to let it out. And it was just a constant like dive in, have to hold my breath, dive in, have to hold my breath. And I feel like in moments like how we're discussing now, I dive into a lot of things, a lot of responsibilities. I have very high hopes, high dreams. And my mom told me I could do anything I wanted to in life, so I could do anything I wanted to in life. And I tried to do it all at once. She didn't tell me that part. But I tried to do it all at once. And it doesn't, I don't give myself breaks.